بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, and welcome to the seerah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Last time we left you with the end of the Aqaba Thaniya. It's also mentioned as Al-Aqaba Al-Kubra, the second Aqaba or the major Aqaba. And of course the difference we understand between the two of them, the Aqaba Al-Ula and the Thaniya, the first one and the second one, or the minor and the major, is that, of course, there is no jihad in the first one, there was jihad in the second one. And the numbers were different, and so on. Now, when we heard that even Sa'd, radiallahu anhu, and even Al-Abbas, when we heard that the people heard the utterance and the cry of shaitan, they said they wanted to defend Prophet Muhammad sallallahu right away, and he says, مَا أُمِرْنَا بِذَلِكَ. And he says, we're not commanded to do that yet. So we said that we have to be smart, intellectual, to do things at the right time and the right place. Now, on the way out, remember, they fled and they wanted to make sure that this rumor was not true. So what they did, some of the honorable society of Quraysh, they went to Laws al-Khazraj, meaning in Medina. And who is the head there? Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, the head of hypocrisy. He says the people of Quraysh went up to him and he says, Wallahi, we heard that Laws al-Khazraj, your people, have made a covenant, a treaty with Muhammad. And by Allah, we do not want to fight you. Because if anyone among the Arab that we do not want to fight is you. He says, Wallahi, it is not true. I wasn't there, nor my people will do anything behind my back. And it's not true. We want to make sure this is only a rumor. We did not make a treaty to protect Muhammad ﷺ. But the Muslims around them, they know what happened, and they were just looking at each other in silence. So Quraysh came back to Mecca, sort of feeling a little bit more secure that it did not happen, it's only a rumor. But they really were not very comforted. They were not sure. So they started to ask and confirmed finally that it did happen. So they started to flee after the people after the season of Hajj, and they couldn't catch anyone. Most of them already fled except two. They caught Sa'd ibn Mu'adh that we mentioned earlier, but Mut'ab ibn Adi, subhanallah, came up to him. He protected him. And you know why? Because Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, he used to yujir, he used to protect his tribes when they walked by or they traveled by in the caravan. Look, if you do good, it'll always come back to you. Don't say the one, do good and throw it in the ocean, as some proverbs say. Do good and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you with it. It's not the case, inshallah. So now, it was time. It was time for migration. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam given a permission for people to migrate. Among the people who first migrated with Abu Salama, there's a beautiful story here. We'll just derive some lessons from it, inshallah. Among the first people that migrated with Abu Salama, it was actually narrated that 1 year before the Aqaba Thaniya, 1 year ahead of the second Aqaba, this treaty, that Abu Salama wanted to migrate. But he wanted to take Salama, his wife, and his son, Salama, with them. But the tribe of Salama, his wife, actually deprived him of Salama. He says, we gave you our daughter to marry her here. Why do you want to take her away from our family? She's our daughter. And we know, of course, that Islam says, الرجل يتبع ولا يتبع. The man is supposed to be followed, not follower. So we know because we don't do it intentionally to harm anyone or this in spite of. But the woman in Islam is supposed to follow the man. But of course this was pre-Islamic, ignorant era. It says, no, this is our daughter, you go. You leave our daughter here. But it's his wife, subhanallah. So now Abu Salama radiallahu anh had to make a decision. But he says, flee to Allah and His Messenger. فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. He made that decision. And he was deprived, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, from his wife. And now the tribe of Abu Salama came up to the tribe of Salama. He says, you've taken your daughter from our son. Now their son is ours. He belonged to the father. So we will deprive his mother from her own son. Imagine yourself, akhi and ukhti, in this position. Your husband is traveling, your own family is depriving you from your own husband, and now the husband's family is depriving you from your own son. Allahu Akbar. She said, Salama, he says, Wallahi, I used to go out to that position or that point where I lost my husband and I lost my son every day. تَدْمَعُ عَيْنِي. my tears would flow. لا تجف عيني لا تجف الدمع. And the tears will not dry. Is every day for a year. Until a man, Ibn Talha, he was not a Muslim then, but understand that Salama gave him a good name. Because even though he's not a Muslim, he did something good. So we don't deprive people. If they do something good, we actually acknowledge that. It doesn't matter whether they're Muslim or any other faith. But what happened? Talha asked her, what are you doing here? She said, I'm here because of 1, 2, 3, 4. She told him, my husband is gone, my son is gone, and so on. He says, aren't you the daughter of so-and-so? Imagine he actually mentioned to her that your father was so-and-so. Why do you think that is important? Look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even said that in Surah An-Nisa. وَلْيَخْشَى الَّذِينَ لَوْ تَرَكُوا مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّةً ضَعَافًا خَافُوا عَلَيْهِمْ فَلْيَتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَلْيَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا. If you fear for your offsprings or you need your progeny, akhi and ukhti, did he say buy insurance policy? No? You're right, he didn't. His فَلْيَتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. His first thing, فَاء التعقيب. As we learned that before, we're just repeating it, inshallah. فَاء التعقيب, right away, fa, the letter. And lam. And we mentioned that the lam, it comes in the present tense, it does what? Amr wa talab. It poses now, it represents a amr, command, wa talab, request. فَلْيَتَّقُوا اللَّهِ. First have taqwa, akhi, and Allah will protect your children, wallahi. As we mentioned again, go back to Surah Al-Kahf, يقول وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Their forefathers were actually, their father was righteous, but if you go into tafsir, you'll find that was Sabi' Jadd, the 7th grandfather. But again, this is what happened. It's because if your father was so generous and that, I will help you. So he goes to her tribe. And he says, here's the situation, let her go, and so on. So now what happened? He takes her all the way, 500 kilometers away. And what happened? He actually stepped down from his camel and he turned away, walk around. Walk not to see her awra. Ya akhi, look at the shahama. A man was not a Muslim, but look at the dignity of a true man. Not when you help a sister or whatever, here's my email, call me. All right, Allahu musta'an. Allah help you, akhi, wallahi. Now, he turned around, walked away, he got it, and he was walking on his feet, escorting Salama to get to Medina. Could you imagine doing that, from Mecca to Medina? Yes, he met her on the outside of the boundaries, but he's asking, why are you there? Imagine, he told her to, I will help you with this, and I will take you there till he became there. أين العروبة وأين الشهامة? Where are the good men? What happened, أخي and أختي? What happened to us when you say, can you help me, brother? You know, I would, but I have people to see, things to do, and, you know, all that. Yeah, sure. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Wallahi, we need to help others, inshaAllah. Even, look, I know qada al-haja. He says, if you help brothers and sisters to do the right thing, and to help them with their errand and chores and run them for them, there's still, حتى يثبت, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you thabat, will give you steadfast and firm feet on Judgment Day. يوم تزل الأقدام. ويقضي الحاجة, you help for others to run the errands and chores, Allah will run your errands and chores, akhi. It's the way it is. So you can understand now how this thing turned around, how Salama radiallahu anhu wardaha, she says, Wallahi, ma ra'ayt akram min Talha. Subhanallah. Uthman ibn Talha. Subhanallah. Amazing, akhi, this is something that we have to learn. Among the other people that they used to go, but by the way, they used to migrate in secrecy and darkness. Because people of Quraysh, as soon as they find somebody that is migrating, they would catch him, and even trickery. Because believe it or not, Abu Jahl, he knew some of the people going, he says, I'll come with you. But they didn't tell him what it is. He says, you know, my camel needs help. Could you help me? So as soon as Anakh al-Jamal, so the camel came down, they jumped on him, roped him, and they took him back. It was strict. It was very difficult to get away. Very difficult. And he says, everyone from their family members, do that with all of your family. Every family from now on. Any one of your family members tries to flee, get him back and tie him. It was difficult. Among those was Suhaib al-Rumi radiallahu anhu wardah. On the way out, some of the Quraysh stood in front of him and says, no, you're not going anywhere. Wallahi, you came to us, جئت لنا, you had nothing, you didn't have any wealth, and you didn't have anything to you. You're going to taftadi بِجَسَدِكَ وَمَالِكَ. Do you think you're going to go away with your body, meaning alive, and also take away the wealth that you earned here? He says, no. So now he had to make a decision. But which one do you think? Of course, wealth. I'm going to go for wealth because this is what I need in this life. It ain't anything funny. And in this land of milk and honey, it's all about money. And of course, yeah, right, sure. But not Mus'ab ibn Umayr, not Suhayb al-Rumi, ya akhi. These were Sahaba radiallahu anhu majma'een. They made the right decision. And that right decision, akhi, was they said, if I give you my money, تخلوا سبيلي, if I give you my money, do you let me go? He says, yes. He says, my money is over there. Go take it. But before that, he actually took the sword. He says, if you want to fight, I will fight you. He was not a coward. He says, if that's what you're after, fight, I will fight you till I die. He wasn't concerned about the money. But he was concerned about the religion and protecting himself, inshallah, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the best way possible and to migrate where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam heard. When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam heard that Suhayb al-Rumi, he gave up his wealth in order for him just to firru ila Allah, to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, رَبَحَتِ الْبَيْعَ يَا صُهَيْبْ رَبَحَتِ الْبَيْعَ يَا أَبَا يَحْيَى. This is a very good deal, Aba Yahya, his nickname, or Suhayb al-Rumi, radiallahu anhu wa ardah. You can see the criterias, the difference between us and the Sahaba radiallahu anhu ajma'een. Now we understand, akhi, that there are weaknesses in our heart, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that. I know. But we will not, this is not our topic of this, but we'll continue inshallah with the seerah. Among them, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, I know the hadith is there that he, but it's da'if. The hadith says that, he's the only one that migrated during the day and not in secrecy, and challenged people. And he said, من أراد أن يثقل أمه ويفقد ولده, and so on. He says, if those people want their mother to lose a child and their wife to lose a husband, to become a widow, and the kids will become orphans, فَلْيَتْبَعْنِي, go fight and fight me. But it was narrated actually that he went out with the three, among them Ayyash. And Ayyash was actually tricked. Abu Jahl and his mother and so on, they came in, they said, your mother had made a vow. They took an oath that Allah تمشط شعرها, she's not going to comb her hair, and ولا تستظل من الشمس, and she will not shade herself from the sun till you come back. حتى تراك, she has to see you. So Umar ibn Khattab is telling him, this is a trick, don't fall in this trap. They're only going to do this to get you back, and يفتنونك في دينك. They will actually use you to bring you back, and they will put you in a fitna, a test and trial in your religion. فأبى عياش إلا أن يبر قسم أمه. So he refused but to acknowledge and accept the qasam, the oath that his mother took. And on the way back, of course, of what happened, Abu Jahl climbed him, tied them, and he gave him, and it was such. But Umar ibn Khattab says, if you refuse, but remember, your mother, if the qummal, the fleas, scratches, gets on her scalp, she will scratch and she will comb her hair. And if the sun is going to be hot, she will shade. But of course, it wasn't. He says, okay, if you refuse but to do that, take my naqa, take my camel, because it knows its way and it's a bit faster and so on. So still, he did what he had to do. Now, among them, now it's time for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to migrate. Before that, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu wanted to migrate a few times, and he wanted to get for permission, and the permission was not granted. Of course, for a reason. So again, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is asking for permission to migrate, not granted. He says, maybe Allah will grant you a partner to migrate with. But who was that partner? Imagine who was? It was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was time for him to migrate. And now he goes to tell Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. He says, it's time. And Aisha radiallahu anha is narrating this hadith. He says, Wallahi, I have never seen a grown man cry from a pleasure situation, from something that is happy occasion. He says, As-suhba ya Abu Bakr, As-suhba ya Abu Bakr. He says, As-suhba ya Rasulullah, As-suhba ya Rasulullah. And he started crying. He couldn't believe it, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose him to be the company with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, he prepared the 2 camels, he prepared everything. And before that, Prophet sallallahu of course, did what? He went inside. He says, أخرج من عندك. He said, this is total secrecy. He says, only, it's my daughter and it's your wife. So he looked right, left to make sure there's nobody else. He says, and he told him what he told him. The rumor is coming around that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is migrating. So they had a 911 call for Dar al-Nadwa. You know, Dar al-Nadwa, where they had the meetings of all the people in Quraysh. And there's a long list of people that had there, all the Sada, all the leaders of the tribes were there. And including one who was not amongst them. Who do you think it was? None other than Shaitan. You're right. Shaitan came with this lovely company. They fit right in. Perfect. Now he came in with a Shaykh min Najd. Okay? And he had big amama. You know. And I know Abu Hanifa rahmatullah says, كبروا عماتكم حتى يتجرأ لا يتجرأ عليكم السفيه. He says, have a big amama for the safih. You know, those little people don't come back and say you don't know what you're talking about and so on. But this is different. This man came in with, thobe. He looked very scholarly like. So people actually asked him, where are you from? He says, from Najd. He says, okay, come, join us. He says, I'm here for the meeting because I need to get rid of Muhammad. Because that's what they're really after. They said, who is after all of this? How come we're losing some of our family members and all that stuff, the long story. And they talked about it. He says, let's get him. So he said, okay, how do we deal with him? So all of these people got together and now they're talking. So one of the opinions says, let's drive him out and exclude him from our city. Who's the one that speaks? Shaykh. Who is the Shaykh? Shaitan. He says, Wallahi ma hada bira'i. This is not a good opinion. He says, not a good opinion. Because if you leave him, if you drive him out, he's going to talk to other people, and what happens? He's going to convince him, and he will come back to fight you. This is not a good decision. He said, okay. Now, Al-Bukhtari ibn Hisham is now talking. He says, okay, نحبسه. We now should imprison him. Put him behind bars. So again, who speaks? Shaitan. He says, Wallahi ma hada bira'i. By Allah, this is not a good opinion. Because if you imprison him, people, the one that they love him and they know he's there, they'll come back and they will get him out and they will make that a reason for them to come and fight you and they will beat you. He says, Ma hada bira'i. So now the third person, who is it? Abu Jahl. You won't believe this, but Abu Jahl came up with an idea Shaitan himself liked. So who was teaching the Shaitan? Abu Jahl. Imagine. Now I know there is a little bit of a joke here that Shaitan would come and to tell people what to do bad and turn around now. That people do so many bad things that subhanallah ya akhi. We don't need shaitan anymore. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm not wallahi no joke about aqidah or whatever. But we come up with ideas, amazing arts of how to deceive and lie and cheat and kill and all that stuff. Allah musta'an. In that essence, shaitan was listening in on this meeting. Abu Jahl says, I have the opinion, I have the answer, I have the answer. He says, what is it? He says, we take from every tribe the strongest, youngest, biggest youth they have, young man they have, and they all come up and kill him with one strike, as it's one sword. فَيَتَفَرَّقْ دَمَهُ عَنِ الْقَبَائِلِ. So his bloodshed would be spread all over the tribes. They will not be able to fight which tribe to fight. They will not be able to fight us all. So Shaitan himself says, هذا هو الرأي هذا هو الرأي الذي لا رأي غيره. This is opinion, there is no other opinion other than that. Subhanallah ya akhi. Amantu billahi wa rusulih. Now it is time. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam waited for people to go to sleep. And we know the story of what happened to asking Ali radiallahu anhu warda, and the heroism of Ali and him being a brave man. When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu told him to stay in the bed. Now you can understand if somebody asks you to come, do me a favor, akhi. People out there are going to kill me. Just a small favor, really, nothing major. Can you stay in my bed so people will kill you instead of me? They will think it's me in there. What would you do, akhi? Sure. Now look at Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu warda. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu is asking him to do what? Stay in my bed. But before that, what did he say? He says, give him back the rightfully worldly possession. Now you can understand, again, if it's us, well, the reason I'm turning the table is because it's tangible. These are tangible examples. If somebody that left something as an amana with you, okay, they entrusted you with something of theirs, and now you know that he's going to kill you, what are you going to do with it? You're going to give it back to him? Say, you want to kill me? Are you kidding? All right, man, you just lost your amana, man. That's it. It's halal for me. It's dire or whatever. So no, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sadiq al-Wa'd al-Amin, is teaching us, no, whatever somebody's entrusting you with something, give it back. Give it back. But he told Ali ibn Abi Talib something. He told him, when you wake up in the morning, you see? But after what? Did he tell him in that right away? Ali ibn Abi Talib passed the test, that he would sacrifice himself to save Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when he told him in that story, he says, when you wake up in the morning, what does that mean? He will be saved. He will wake up in the morning. He says, give him back all the rightful deeds, all the rightful owners, whatever they had with me. Imagine, ya akhi, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people do not want to heed his message. Persecution. They don't want to give him anything. But they still trust him enough to do what? To put their most valuable worldly possession with him. I have no idea what they were thinking of. But no, I don't believe you, but I trust you enough to keep everything. When I travel, when I go away, I will trust you to keep my worldly possession with me. Subhanallah, ya akhi. Imagine that. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they knew that he was Sadiq al-Wa'd al-Amin. They knew he was not lying. As we mentioned the verse before, إِنَّهُمْ لَا يُكَذِّبُونَكَ. They do not make you a lie. وَلَكِنَّ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the oppressive ones, they says, بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ يَجْحَدُونَ. It's not the case. So when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam got to that point, and it was time in the morning, he grabbed a handful of dust. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them in slumber mode. Because they waited for him to do what? To perform Fajr. So how are you doing on Fajr, akhi nukhti? How are you doing on Qiyam? Qiyam? What are you talking about, man? I cannot even wake up to do Fajr. You ask me to do Qiyam? Inshallah, inshallah, you'll practice, inshallah. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as they were waiting for him to come out to go as used to into the prayer in the Fajr, they wanted to get him with that. Inshallah, we'll continue the story of how that proceeded and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who listen, speech and follow the best of it. Wa akhir da'wam, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wa sallam ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabi'in, jazakumullah khairan, wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Prophet, that was his role to spread Islam. That was his goal. He worshipped Allah with all his soul. He was a prophet. That was his role to spread Islam. That was his goal. He worshipped Allah with all his soul. Muhammad.